What if one of the NBA's most electrifying talents, Zion Williamson, is not just a beacon of hope, but also a symbol of its mounting troubles? This piece dives deep into how Williamson's journey encapsulates the league's broader issues, from injury woes and market pressures to the intricate dynamics of star power. We'll solve why Zion, a player with the potential to reshape the sport, finds himself at the heart of the NBA's complex narrative. Buckle up for an insightful exploration of what his story tells us about the current state of the game. When it comes to the first overall pick in any draft, there's always a whirlwind of hype and expectations, regardless of the talent in the draft class or the individual player's skills. Take Anthony Bennett or Markelle Fultz, for instance. Both were selected first overall, but are often regarded as the biggest disappointments of this era in the NBA. They struggle to even reach the level of average NBA players. Looking at the situations in Philadelphia and Cleveland, those selections were significant missteps. However, what's even more perplexing is the case of Ben Simmons. Unlike Bennett and Fultz, Simmons found considerable success in the league, earning All-Star and All-NBA honors, and drawing comparisons to legends like LeBron James and Magic Johnson. In some respects, Ben Simmons' journey of reaching success only to descend is even more striking than that of Bennett, who never really found his footing. If we consider another player following a similar trajectory, we can look at Zion Williamson. Like Simmons, Zion burst onto the NBA scene with remarkable success early on, but he too has faced significant setbacks. Reflecting on Zion's time in college and even in high school, he was a must-watch player, captivating audiences and making a name for himself long before his first game at Duke. His time there was nothing short of sensational, as he took the basketball world by storm. Zion's Duke was undeniably a powerhouse, and he was the clear-cut first overall pick in that year's draft. The Knicks had the best odds to secure him, and when they ended up with the third pick, fans were understandably furious. While they did land RJ, a talented player in his own right, they missed out on Zion, a unique blend of Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal, particularly on the offensive side. Last year, Zion led the ACC with over 3 offensive rebounds per game, showcasing his dominance. There has never been a player like Zion Williamson in basketball, combining extraordinary athleticism, agility, and nimbleness with a remarkable 45-inch vertical leap, all packed into a 6'7", 285-pound frame. He was truly something special back then. Zion was often compared to Barkley, and honestly, that comparison wasn't good. At the time, it seemed like no matter where he landed, be it Memphis, the Knicks, or New Orleans, he was destined for greatness. Fast forward to today, and it's a different story. Zion has repeatedly let fans down, failing to live up to the hype. Every year we witness the same pattern. During the summer, Zion showcases his best physique, looking absolutely ripped and ready to dominate. The season kicks off, and he starts strong, appearing healthy and playing well. Classic Zion. But then, just 10 to 15 games in, injuries strike and he's sidelined once again. This cycle defines both Zion Williamson and the experience of being a Pelicans fan. Zion's professional career has been marred by a series of significant health challenges. While injuries can often be attributed to sheer bad luck, in Zion's situation, the way he's carried himself throughout his life has sown the seeds of his downfall. Take a look at footage from 2019. He moves like a penguin, and his knees are noticeably angled inward rather than aligned straight. This walking pattern has undoubtedly placed immense stress on his lower body over the years, making his struggles with debilitating knee injuries hardly surprising. However, the most pressing issue that looms large is his weight, which has always been a critical factor in his overall health. It's worth noting that Zion and Ben Simmons share a similar trajectory, not in their playing styles, but in their career paths. Both players found early success, only to face challenges that have hindered their progress. 3 years ago, Zion was an all-star starter in the Western Conference, averaging an impressive 27 points per game with remarkable shooting efficiency. He was truly exceptional and seemed to have made his mark. However, since that all-star appearance, his scoring average has steadily declined each year, 27, 26, 23, and now around 22. It's tough to admit, but it appears that Zion may have peaked in his second year at just 20 years old. Since then, injuries have plagued him, and his overall game hasn't shown significant growth or improvement in key areas. In many respects, Zion resembles a more gifted version of Ben Simmons. Now, consider this. In his 6-year career so far, has Zion produced any iconic or memorable moments? Sure, there have been a few highlight reel dunks and impressive plays that brought him recognition, but when it comes to leaving a lasting impact on the NBA, Zion has yet to make his mark. The closest he came to achieving that was last year during the playoff tournament, when he scored 40 points against the Lakers, showcasing a performance that was nothing short of unstoppable, reminiscent of Duke's Zion. Currently, Zion is playing well, but injuries continue to plague him. Many fans are questioning why the NBA is facing challenges, and while there are various factors, one significant issue is the absence of marquee players like Zion Williamson in smaller markets. Throughout his 6-year career, Zion's participated in only 190 games, missing 227 out of over 400 games for the Pelicans. This means he's only been available for 45% of the games during his time with the team. From a business and entertainment standpoint, Zion's frequent absences as a box office draw severely impact the franchise and cast a shadow over the league. Interestingly, Zion's situation is somewhat mitigated by the fact that he plays in Louisiana, a state not known for basketball, and New Orleans, a city that doesn't have the same basketball passion as places like Chicago, Boston, Philadelphia, or Los Angeles. If he were in one of those major markets, he would likely face relentless criticism for his injuries and lack of availability. Zion's fortunate to be in New Orleans, where the spotlight isn't as intense. In today's social media-driven world, being in a smaller market doesn't necessarily equate to fame or recognition. The big question surrounding Zion Williamson is whether he truly loves basketball. Despite all of Ja Morant's controversies, his passion for the game has never been in doubt. But with Zion, I can't help but wonder if he genuinely cares about basketball and the NBA. And from what I've observed, the answer seems to be a clear no. Consider the perspective of his teammates. Brandon Ingram, Herb Jones, Trey Murphy, and even CJ McCollum. They've spent the last few years dealing with the frustration of Zion's injuries. Just take a look at the Pelicans lineup during their only ESPN televised game against the Warriors. Ingram, Trey Murphy, Daniel Theis, Javonte Green, and Alfred Payton. If that doesn't make you want to change the channel, I'm not sure what will. The Pelicans find themselves in a state of chaos, a situation that's only worsened since Zion's injury. His weight has reportedly skyrocketed, and a recent social media video showcasing his new back tattoo drew more attention to his appearance than to the artwork itself, with many comments highlighting his noticeable weight gain. It paints a rather bleak picture, doesn't it? However, the reality is a bit more complex. Zion's ongoing struggle with weight is a telling sign of his lack of discipline. Since his teenage years, he's relied on his natural talent to dominate opponents, thanks to his remarkable strength and size. While many players have had to work tirelessly to earn their place in the league, Zion was always seen as a future NBA star. The path was laid out for him, and he merely had to stroll down it. His selection in the draft wasn't due to an exceptional work ethic or mental fortitude. It was his extraordinary physical gifts that set him apart. He has already secured at least $193 million guaranteed, which means his weight isn't a pressing concern for him. Living a life of luxury is simply too tempting, and as a result, he might end up retiring without ever meeting the enormous expectations placed upon him. But honestly, who cares? He's wealthy, and when he's in good health, he performs well enough to dodge significant criticism. Nothing else seems to matter. This is why it's hard to believe that the cycle of disappointment will change anytime soon for Zion Williamson. He's had numerous wake-up calls, yet he keeps hitting the snooze button. He finds himself in the same league of underperforming NBA players who are lazy, unmotivated, and satisfied with mediocrity. You're curious about the decline in ratings, and it's not some elaborate conspiracy or a puzzle shrouded in mystery. The reality is much simpler. Star players aren't on the court as often as they should be. Take Zion Williamson, for example. He's consistently battling health issues and struggles with his fitness, which has been a letdown for the Pelicans. That pretty much sums it up.